Coming to you monthly since 2010, this is the TSG Multimedia Podcast about trains, model railroading, and historic preservation. We're sponsored this month by the TSG Train Crew on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/TSG Multimedia for more information. ModelRailroadControlSystems.com, electronics for operations. The Western Pacific Railroad Museum, WPLives.org. Podomatic.com, a podcast hosting and distribution platform. If you'd like to sponsor this program, please email podcast@tsgmultimedia.com.
I'm John, and this month we have some pretty cool things to share, including a rare American flyer find, the number 12's arrival at the Yosemite Mountain Sugar Pine Railroad, running the Sparky 107-107 Caboose, talking trains with BLT, a big announcement about the Union Pacific 4014's trip out west later this year, a cool artifact find at the SBHRS, an amazing brass Southern Pacific cab-forward kit build, and a lot more. By the way, the names scrolling past to my left are the members of the TSG Train Crew on Patreon. If you add your name to that list, you'll get behind-the-scenes updates as they happen, and you also get to see all of the Saturday features in 4K without the watermark in the corner of the screen. It helps us out too, so join the crew today. Hi, I'm going to the SBHRS today with my buddy Kevin.
Howdy.
Oh, I thought it was hey. Anyway, Kevin, so many people may not know this, but the SBHRS actually has an eBay presence.
Yes.
And a lot of the stuff that gets donated to them gets sold on eBay. If it's not sold in their company store at the open house, almost certainly gets sold on eBay. And they use a lot of that money to fund their operations and maintenance for the year. Well, Kevin ordered something from them on eBay.
I purchased a locomotive, yeah.
Right? And we're going to pick it up. So when we get there, I'm going to have him explain what it is, because it's kind of cool. He just told me, and I thought it was worth sharing. So this will be the first podcast update for this podcast. So this is the mystery train that Kevin came down to pick up. So what is this thing, Kevin?
This is an American Flyer Pennsylvania Railroad K5 class Pacific. These were my favorite engines that Flyer made in the post-war period, and this is a really early one. This is the number 310, a 1946 locomotive. That was the first year that American Flyer introduced S-gauge.
Oh, so it's kind of historic in a way, huh?
Yes, it is. Before this, they only made O-gauge and standard gauge. So this was the first year for S-gauge. A couple things that are kind of interesting on it because it was so early. This engine does not have smoke. It does not have the choo-choo like the later engines did. But they were getting ready for it. On the early Flyer engines, the smoke unit was mounted in the tender, and there would have been a rubber hose that went between the tender and the engine to run the smoke out the stack, and there was a separate motor in the tender that ran the smoke unit. Kind of a weird design, but you can see where they were getting ready for it here. It has the hole where the hose would have come through the tender to get into the engine, and up here is the hole where you would have put the smoke fluid on top of the coal load. But if you look at the smokestack, it's solid and plugged. So this engine never had smoke, but they were getting ready to add the smoke in there. So this was an early 1946 locomotive, and the reverse unit is mounted in the boiler instead of in the tender like it was in the later engines. You can see the locking lever sticking up out of the boiler here. Other really significant thing about this locomotive, if you look at the tender, this is one of only two engines that American Flyer ever made in the post-war period that did not say American Flyer lines on the tender. It has the actual road name on the tender here.
Yeah, so while we're here, why not hang out in the tower for a minute, see what we see. Hi, sorry about the wind noise. I'm coming to you from a really small town called Raymond, California. There's a little caboose here because there's a little railroad museum here. And I first visited this place sometime last year. I came up to a place called the Yosemite Mountain Sugar Pine Railroad, and we had a Chasing Trains episode, and we stopped here on our way home, something that we didn't even know existed. And the map routed me through Raymond on our way to where we're going today, which is back to the Yosemite Mountain Sugar Pine. Well, actually, we're going to Oakhurst today, which is near the Yosemite Mountain Sugar Pine. We're going to go document the West Side number 12, which is going to be delivered tomorrow. My friend Scott, who runs the Yosemite Mountain Sugar Pine, called me a couple of days ago saying, hey, we're going to be having the number 12, the 3-truck Shay. It's coming from Golden, Colorado, from the Colorado Railroad Museum, where it's been for many years now. And it's coming kind of home, but not really. A lot closer to home than it has been. And it's going to be working alongside the number 10 and number 15, which are two Shays that also worked at the West Side. So they're going to have the 10, 12, and the 15 at the Yosemite Mountain Sugar Pine. And the plan is for the number 12 to be running sometime later this year. But anyway, we were on our way through Raymond, and there's this old Southern Pacific caboose and a little museum here. And I thought I'd stop and let you know on the podcast what we're doing, because it's relevant. So more updates to come. So this is the next morning. We've arrived at the Yosemite Mountain Sugar Pine Railroad, and the locomotive is arriving probably within about an hour or so. So we just got our stuff put onto the tripods and kind of set up. We're going to go up and get situated. This is a little bit later, and it looks like the engine's going to show up here pretty soon. And we've just been talking to people here and getting the video that we need to shoot the video that I'm working on for this event. And it's a little stressful because you have to catch it live, and if you miss something, you can't redo it. So there may not be as many updates on this as I would like, but I'm going to do what I can to try to keep the podcast updates current for you.
Right next to him, yeah.
A little bit later, and they have the locomotive in place on the trailer, and they're just connecting a track that's going to basically go to their track from the trailer. And it has to be pretty accurate, because if they get it off at all, the thing will fall off the trailer, and we really don't want that to happen. So, but this is all very interesting to watch, and every little move is like super carefully planned out so that something bad like that doesn't happen. And these guys are doing stuff like really, really slowly and carefully, and with the kind of precision that you might not expect when you're dealing with something this big. But the reason is what I just said. We want to avoid a catastrophe. So you might think they're going to just hook up that track and then just roll that engine right off the track onto their own track. No. What they're going to do is they have another piece of equipment behind the camera, and they're going to hook up using another car. They're going to hook up to that front coupler of the locomotive, and then using the power that they have behind me, it's a diesel, they're going to slowly back it down onto their track. So the first part of what they're doing here today, which was to get most of the shay off of the first truck, is done. They've put the shay in its nice new little home over here. And now we have a boxcar that's going to come off of another truck that's also coming from where the 12 came from. And then they have to take the tender for the 12 off of yet another truck. And so it's really a 3-part maneuver here today. So this rest of this stuff should go a little easier because it's not quite as big and heavy as the engine. So, but you know, they still have to be ultra careful because you don't want anyone to get injured or have the equipment get destroyed or anything like that. It's really interesting to watch, as I said before, how professionals work with gigantic equipment like this. And this is just narrow gauge. I mean, we've seen other stuff that's even bigger than this. When we watched them move the Coyote Depot, for example, when we watched them move the 2479 to Niles Canyon, I don't know what the weight of that thing is, but I'm guessing it's probably close to twice as heavy as what we're watching them move today. But anyway, it's all very interesting, and really glad that we get to share this on the channel, because this is the behind the scenes stuff that no one sees, right? You know, you come to a place like this and the engine pulls up at the station and everyone's, oh, look, it's a train, how happy it makes everybody. But there's a whole lot of work and effort and time and, you know, super precision that goes into this stuff. So we have another update here. The boxcar now is in place temporarily where it's going to be. And the only thing left to unload off of the trucks that arrived this morning now would be the tender for the 3-truck shay that's already in this barn behind me. So that'll be up next. Once again, very interesting to watch this all happen. Lots of work goes into this. So this is a bit later, and they're finally getting the tender off of the trailer. They had to wait for a while because the trucks that were carrying the other equipment had to leave so that the truck that had the tender on its trailer could back into position. And the tender's a little bit different because the coupler is basically on the far side of the tender where I'm pointing right now. And this side here has the drawbar that attaches to the locomotive. So they're going to pull the tender off in this direction and then push it into the barn onto the back of the locomotive that's already in the barn. Okay, so we're done here. Everything's put away. We have the 12 in its new barn. The boxcars over here. They just tucked the tender in with the 12 in the barn. So that's it for this podcast update. And I'll probably have something again for you pretty soon. Hope you enjoyed this segment about the arrival of the number 12. It's a pretty cool thing and a momentous occasion, I think, for all West Side fans and anybody who likes narrow gauge or logging in California. So excellent. Hi, I did something train related today. I came down to Silicon Valley Line many hours ago, and I've been down here waiting for Murph, and we're finally doing something that he's wanted to do for quite some time. Murph, what is this?
So this is a shooting video of the Caboose that I won in the auction for the meet and greet this last summer, and I had him shoot some stuff up on his layout, and we're going to try to get it traversing various layouts here in the Bay Area. Today we did Silicon Valley lines, and John hasn't been here for a while, and he's been pleasantly surprised, I would say, at all the work that's been being done here.
Yeah,
so,
and some pretty cool equipment being run around too, because this is a regular, I guess, work night, or what is it, a running night or a work night? Friday night?
It's a work night, Friday night, and we have people that come in and run the trains that we don't normally get to run during a regular operating session. So anyway, yeah, we've had quite some eye-openers here with what we had.
There's a BART train running around, which
That's
I haven't
awesome.
seen yet. Yeah, it's all lit inside. It's a Rapido, so it's
Yeah.
going to be good. And then there's some bizarre Chinese schnabel train running around up there.
Yeah, it's a Chinese engine pulling a train with two Schnabel cars, the big, huge flat cars that have multiple segments. So that's kind of fun to see, too.
It's something you don't see every day, and, that's what I do on these shows.
Especially seeing two of them in one train. I don't think
Right.
I've ever seen anybody do that.
Anyway, so that's the update from here, and we'll have our next update probably from Talking Trains, because that's happening next week. So,
Yep.
see you then.
Catch you later.
Hi, it's me, and I'm at the SBHRS again. And today I'm running part 2 of what we did last night at Silicon Valley Lines. I have one of my locomotives here, and I'm going to run Murph's Caboose that he got from Sparky on the layout here. So, should be fun. Well, I'm not one to cause trouble usually, but there's something in this picture that'll make someone's head explode. Okay, so I got the shots that I needed of Sparky's Caboose here at the SBHRS, and I think it's time to go home. So that'll do it for this update. We'll be back down here on Wednesday for the Talking Trains show, and we'll probably have an update then. Hi, so we're here today at the South Bay Historical Railroad Society at the Santa Clara Depot with some people that are being goofy over here. And we just finished our Talking Trains show for today, which was about 8,400 plus hours of fun. And it's about Dave Loveless's layout, the R&D, also known as the rawhide and duct tape. Dave's the guy at the end. You may have seen him on a podcast from time to time while we're goofing around at his layout during our op sessions. But the presentation was, I think, full of a lot of takeaways for someone either who wants to operate or wants to do an ops-based layout, that kind of thing. Dave, what would you say out of everything that we talked about would be the key takeaway that you would want someone to go away with after watching the show?
Number one, that I'm lazy. Number two, that Tom Sawyer's right. If you can con your friends into doing something for you, you don't have to do it yourself. I've got a lot of friends.
Yeah.
But basically that we have fun. It's a hobby. If it's not fun, why are you doing it?
I think that's good. And, if it's not fun, you're doing it wrong. And why would you want to do something that's... Yeah, why would you want to do something that's not fun?
Add that to it, too.
We'll add that.
Okay.
Charlie, what was your one takeaway?
Yeah, I was saying earlier that, I did my first op session when I was like 25 years old. And yes, dinosaurs did roam the earth back then, Dave.
What color are they?
But what I got, that's what hooked me on model railroading, was doing operations. It was fun, but mostly, I think the takeaway if you look at our session is that these two guys, we have a lot of fun together. And to me, the big thing about the hobby is building things is great, but community is a big thing. Connecting, having good people, good friends, lots of fun. And so I would like the takeaway to be, get connected with your ops community and have fun together.
I can go for that. You can tell we don't have any fun, either at the op sessions or doing this kind of thing. It's not fun at all.
No.
Yeah.
So we suffer through it.
Oh, yeah. It's been just torture. Tom, what about you? What would your one takeaway be that you wanted to impart on viewers from watching the show?
Just too busy having fun. The one thing I'd like to impart is if you have a layout or you're planning a layout that you would like to have operated by either yourself alone or with one friend, 2 friends, 3 friends, or 15 or 20 friends, don't compromise on the design. Make the design intentional for operations. That's something we've learned over many years of operating is we've had to change a lot of things as things evolve. It's like, that building that looks so cool in the front is right in the way of trying to uncouple some cars. So maybe we should redesign that, or maybe even change the track. But it all starts with an intentional design for operation. Make sure things are accessible and that people can comfortably work so that they'll want to come back.
Mm-hmm. It works.
It all contributes to having fun.
Yeah. I mean, if things don't work,
it's fun.
Well, that's what they say. Is like, if you want to guarantee someone's not going to continue with a hobby, make it not fun to begin with. So if the layout doesn't work, it's a built-in
disincentive.
Is that why hitting yourself in the head with a hammer never caught on as a hobby?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I wondered about that.
What about you, Murph? What would be your takeaway from the session?
Well, I found I really am a fanboy for this layout, and a lot of it has to do with things that the three of you have talked about just now, that you can tell that it was designed for operations. Things are in the right place to get things done. You can tell that the attitude about operations is correct and that there's no pressure to get something done. You aren't scolded for doing things wrong. If you don't understand something, somebody's always there to actually help you understand what's going on. And it's a friendly environment with really fun people to work with, or play with, as it were. So, I found as we kept talking about things, it was like, wait, you forgot about this part too. This is really cool. And that's why I say I'm kind of a fanboy. Hope it wasn't too obnoxious for all of you guys out there, but it's a great layout to operate at. Talk to you later.
Yeah, after all those things being said, I can't really add to any of it. It's just, we have a great time, like I said before, and The donuts are usually pretty good too. I don't know where they come from, but they're pretty good.
Tops Donuts. I get it
In Watsonville.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
definitely.
Watson. It's a local place. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I mean, what else would it be? You're not having them shipped from Amazon.
We import them from.
Yeah, imported from donut
There's
stand.
an Amazon drone that flies in the morning and drops them.
Yeah, that's me, king of the dumb comments, following it. So, but with that, I do want to thank you guys for coming, and also thanks to Ed, who's our friend who opened up the depot for us
Thank
here.
you, Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
Thanks, Ed. Ed's the event coordinator for the SBHRS and does a really great job. So thanks, Ed. Really appreciate it. Thanks again, you guys, for coming. We had a great time, and I hope that you'll watch the show as well. Hi, I'm doing something today. There's a very important and interesting event happening, and I have Mike and Eugene, my friends from the Western Pacific Railroad Museum up in Portola, California, here to talk about it. Now, we're recording this probably a week and a half or 2 weeks before the podcast, so this is all subject to change, but only minor changes. But what are we really here to talk about? I'll let you guys talk about what that is.
Well, a lot of you have probably already heard that the big boy, UP 4014, latent dyslexia.
You want to make sure we're talking about the correct big boy.
Yes, UP 4014 is coming out to California in April. And the first stop on this swing through California is actually going to be at the Western Pacific Railroad Museum, Portola. Right now, scheduled for April 8th, Wednesday, April 8th, 2026.
Nice.
And
It will be arriving probably late on the 7th, depending on their schedule, and on display. And the museum will be open for the display on the April 8th and expected to depart the morning of April 9th, headed for Roseville.
yeah, so be coming in from the east, will be coming in from Nevada on the 7th, and then departing down the Feather River Canyon April 9th.
Oh, so avoid Highway 70 at all costs unless you want to get stuck in a foam or traffic jam.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. And we have had meetings with the city of Portola and various law enforcement. So, pay attention to all and obey all traffic laws and that sort of thing. I mean, if you really want to see it, the best place to see it is come to the museum.
Sure.
And also, it's a great place on all its stops. We tend to be able to get pretty close to the engine. We're going to have a lot of other things going on. We're going to be doing train rides that day. We're planning to have motor car rides, courtesy of the West Coast Railroaders Group. And we're also working to have a couple of outdoor model railroads there. And there's a chance, and I can't spoil it quite yet, but there is a chance the UP is going to send another special guest to us. We're working on that right now.
But you can find out all the details by looking at the screen in front of you and using the
QR code.
The QR code. God, all this new technology. Even though
There's a QR code located conveniently on the top left corner of the screen.
And if you click on that QR code, that will take you directly to our website, which will have the information up to date about what's happening when the big boy comes.
We also have, during the event on the 8th, to close out the day, we are going to be doing a special fundraising dinner at the Nakoma Resort, just west of Portola. And guest speaker at that is going to be Ed Dickens, head of the UP Steam program. And special guests in general is going to be members of the Steam crew.
Nice.
So that's going to be a separate fundraising event. All proceeds from all of this, of course, go to support the Western Pacific Railroad Museum.
So all of the details for all of this are going to be on the website, right?
All be on the website.
Excellent. So that little QR code can be scanned with your phone if you're watching this on a TV or something like that, and it will take you to the website, which is wplives.org.
Correct.
So I think that's great, and I'm excited. I'm thinking that we're planning to be there, and we can talk about that kind of offline, because if we do, then it might be a really interesting program, I think, to document the event and all the festivities that go with it. Because I don't know. I mean, I'm just going to say this, guys. Last year, was it when it came, or the year before? Whenever it was, when
July
it came
2024.
24. Okay, so what? Almost last year. I keep thinking we're still in 25, even though we're in
about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, by the time this airs or whatever is made public, we'll be in March already. But anyway, what I was going to say is that time when it came out, I was thinking to myself, oh, hey, you better go see this now because it may never happen again, right? This is how all these things are with Steam anything. This might not ever happen again. That's well, right. We're really lucky that it is happening again. And what I'm thinking is if we can document the event, then in the expectation that it might even happen yet again, it'll give people an idea of what the Western Pacific Railroad Museum is doing to, to sort of, I guess, mark this really cool occasion of having the big boy there. And I don't know if this is really what's happening, but I'm going to bet that the WP Heritage Unit would go with it because it would be very relevant for that to be there. And they did not tell me anything. I'm just saying that that's my guess. Maybe we should have a guess. We should have a poll.
I can neither confirm nor deny the presence of the Western Pacific Heritage locomotive.
But the cool thing was that last time in 24, yes, it did. It traveled with the WP Heritage Unit as it's down the canyon. And that was really cool. So, and it's a cool museum to visit regardless, but even cooler when there's a gigantic, the world's largest, in fact, steam engine, in attendance. And, we're building a whole program around it, as Eugene just said. So come on up. And like I said, check the website for up-to-date information. You can also check the UP Steam website for their schedule. They will probably update it probably about the same time that this comes out, hopefully. And we'll keep you up to date with all the details. In addition, I will probably be appearing on future podcasts a couple of weeks before the actual event to give viewership additional updates.
Sure. Yeah, we'll probably have time for you on Talking Trains next month, and that'll be worthwhile, I think. I'm really excited, though, and I do want to say that I made an entire video that kind of scratches the surface, but is a pretty good representation of what's up at the Western Pacific Railroad Museum with our friend Ethan, who is definitely taller than 6'3". But that's here on the channel, and I will put a link to it in the podcast description. So in case anybody's wondering, even if the big boy is not there, it's still worth going to see because there is so much really cool equipment, and you can go run a locomotive up there. So, and
the original run a locomotive program.
Right. And I'm not trying to discount the fact that big boy is coming, but I am saying that regardless, it's worth the trip because, I've been there a couple of times, maybe 3 times now. And every time I've been there, I've seen something more or something different or something interesting that I didn't know was there before. So definitely
it's got a lot of hidden gems up there. And and one of the nice things I think, and I've heard other people say it the last time the big boy came, we had some folks who came to Portola and they were just thrilled. They could see the big boy. They could ride the motor cars. We had cabs open. We were giving cab tours. And they were like, oh, there was so much stuff to see and do in addition to the big boy. And then they went down, they saw it, like, say, in Roseville, and they went, yeah, there were 15,000 people, and we got to see it from about 300 feet away.
Right.
And Portola, it's just like the museum itself, it's a little more compact. It's closer in. You're going to get an up close and personal view. Last time, I was probably standing about 35 feet away from the big boy. Sometimes I had to walk away because the whistle's so loud. And,
well, and the crew, the steam crew, I think because it was a little more open, they were walking around in the crowd. I mean, they were just engaging with people in the crowd, talking with them, answering all kinds of questions.
Yeah,
we got a lot of positive feedback from Ed Dickens and the steam crew from the last visit. And they've been very enthusiastic about coming to Portola again, and we really appreciate it. Obviously, the patronage and just getting the word out about the museum there were a lot of people there that didn't even know the museum existed. And and I've talked to people at Santa trains and at the pumpkin trains this past year who said, "Oh, I found out about the museum when the big boy
came." Yeah.
So it's a huge shot in the arm to us.
Oh, definitely. And I can say, having been to other, I guess, stopovers that the 4014 has been to, is that Ed Dickens and all of the crew makes themselves very accessible. I mean, you can walk right up to him, introduce yourself, and shake his hand, and he will talk to you. One of the really nice things, and I've often said this about Ed and about UP, is that I think they got the right guy for the job he's doing, because it's weird to me. I mean, maybe I underestimate how many people watch my stuff, or maybe how well known I might be sort of in that community, but he always remembers me and always takes time to talk to me. And it's really a nice thing, I think, because he must have thousands of people that he interacts with, especially on tours like this. And to be someone that he remembers, and maybe he remembers everybody. I don't know. Maybe maybe that's his superpower, and I'm more impressed than I need to be. But it always makes me feel kind of special that he remembers who I am and knows me by name, and I just think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, and that's the kind of experience that people can get. If he's out there talking to them, he's just a gem of a person when it comes to, interfacing with the public. So I think it's really good for UP that he's out here doing that. It's great PR for them.
Yes, absolutely. And, Eugene and I were just talking half an hour ago about the tour that they're going to do, because obviously they're in the midst of the proposed merger with Norfolk Southern, and this is a goodwill tour, and it's national.
Yeah,
he's going to be touring that locomotive across the country.
Yep.
I don't envy him.
That crew is to be so tired.
Yeah. That's a hell of an undertaking. So
they do have stopovers and places where they can rest and all that, but it's like being on tour probably with a band, I would guess, where at the end you're just like,
done.
Very
much so.
Yeah. So right. I don't know if I could do it, guys. It would be really hard. I mean, just being around people for me is a little bit taxing, to be honest. I'm good at it and I do it and I don't mind so much, but yeah. So good point though, Eugene. I do think that's something worth, especially toward the end of the tour. If you have,
I'm glad we're at the beginning.
Right. They'll be fresh and they'll be like,
we are one of the first stops. They're all going to be nice and fresh and hey, let's go.
That's right. It's the first concert during the tour. So they're going to give you a really good show.
Yeah, we're right. There'll be a couple before us where they can kind of like loosen up and get into the groove. And by the time they get to us,
they'll go, Portola, check out the jams. Let's go.
Right. Okay. Well, hey, thanks for joining me here today, guys. I really do appreciate it. And, definitely appreciate the support from the WP Railroad Museum as well. So thank you for that. And just a quick message to the viewers here that if you appreciate the fact that we have this podcast and that we're able to share all this really interesting stuff that you don't see anywhere else, support the sponsors like the Western Pacific Railroad Museum, because it's a good organization. Decent people, as you can see, except Mike, of course.
Yeah, there's exceptions to everything.
We're working on him.
Yeah, Eugene's a nice guy, but I don't know about that Mike guy. He's a little shady. No, but seriously, good people. It's a great place to visit, and whether the big boys there or not, go check them out, support them, see all kinds of really cool stuff. Or if you can't get there, support them anyway. Right? I'm sure there's a place on the
absolutely.
website. Yeah, a place on the website. Scan the QR code and go check it out. And
the website is amazing. There is so much information. And in fact, if you're a modeler who wants to model the Western Pacific, there is so much information. I'm just looking up at the just above the screen, and I have all these pages open on WP 40-foot boxcars because I model the WP as well in HO. and I've been doing models of them. And so the amount of information on the WP in the website is just phenomenal. Open there all the time for whatever you want if you want to come to the museum. And I'll make the point that come to the museum even when the big boy isn't there. We have the rental locomotive program. We have a huge collection of equipment, and there won't be as big a crowd there either. You can wander around without, running the gamut, and just take your time. And it's in a beautiful, beautiful location. Yes. I mean, that part of the Sierra is, it's not crowded. There's still lots.
Hardly anyone knows it's there.
Yeah. Yeah, but it really is. It's about 45 minutes from downtown Reno. Mm-hmm. So, you want to stay at one of the hotels or one of the casinos in Reno, and it's a 45-minute drive to the museum. Most people don't realize how close it is.
And I got to give this shout out too. If you want to go even further in, Mike mentions modeling. We like to joke up there, we're modeling 12 inches of the foot scale. Yep. But if you really want to get your hands on, we're always looking for volunteers. And we have a beautiful ex-Canadian National sleeper car that our volunteers can stay in. We have facilities for them. We have volunteers sometimes that come, they'll stay for just a weekend or a whole week, restoring stuff, working on the grounds, just being a docent, just showing people around. So if you ever really want to get your hands in on this stuff and find a place to volunteer and really get into some really interesting history, look us up.
Yeah. One point that I'll make is just a few weeks ago, I started with my brakeman's training, and we were switching out the cars that had been in the Santa trains. And I had always dreamed of working on the railroad. I've done the rental locomotive program many times, but I had never actually, worked with coupling and uncoupling freight cars and moving stuff around. And I had a ball. It was so much fun. I was tired at the end of the day, but I was happy tired. So come on up for a really, what Eugene's right, a real hands-on experience. It's like nothing else. And if you've always wanted to do it, come and give it a try.
Hi, we're back at the SBHRS today, and we're working on archiving the artifacts once again. And later on, I'm going to show you, remember they were working on the square foot challenge here? Well, I think all of the dioramas are in place because it's been probably a month since that was announced here, maybe 3 months since it was announced. But there's a bunch of dioramas over there, and I want to show you to give you an idea of what people entered for that contest. I don't think it's been decided who won yet, but there's actually another one that's kind of like Robin's, where it's what's out here at our location. And I thought that was kind of cool. So we'll look at that later. But for now, I'm working on taking pictures of artifacts. So here's a look at an interesting one. Looks like, I'm not sure, is that supposed to be a rail car, I guess, on the moon? So people really got creative here. Moving along, here's an incline for some kind of ore, looks like. And apparently this model is something that was on the Virginia and Truckee, and there's a whole write-up about it. That's pretty cool. And here's one I thought was very interesting. This one shows what's here now, just like Robin's. I thought that was cool. Kind of almost goes along with Robin's. And if you go to the Santa Clara Depot or Santa Clara Caltrain station, you'll see this. And that walkway goes through to the other side, just like it does outside here. Here we have something called Sheridan Station. I don't know anything about Sheridan Station. Is it Sheridan, Wyoming? I don't know. But that's kind of cool. There's a station with a passenger platform there. And then, of course, we know Robin's. We've seen that. We had a whole video dedicated to this one. So the other two square foot dioramas are in the case here. The one on the left is Jake's Car Shops, and the one on the right is a forest on a hill. Pretty interesting. I do like that there's so much participation in this contest. That's pretty cool. So the people at SBHRS are actually modeling. And the winner is going to be chosen on the 14th of March. Hey, we came across something that I think is really cool. This is an Amtrak schedule of intercity passenger service, dated July 12th of 1971. That's cool. Now, as you know, Amtrak was initiated in May of 1971, so this is one of the very first ever, I guess, timetable or guides. It's about 30 pages. It's pretty cool. And it has all the... Oh, look at this. This is the kind of stuff we find, though, when we're doing this artifact database stuff. That is really cool. And this is pretty historic. You may be wondering what the big deal is about this brass engine here. This is a model that Mark Schutzer built. It's a metal kit that he had to assemble over the course of many, many months. We always talk about Mark's power here at Dave's Layout as being Swiss watches, and this is the test run for this model. So he's having someone run it today around the layout to see if there are any issues with it, because he doesn't want to paint it until he knows it's working properly. And so it's the shakedown run. But look how super detailed this thing is. It's really a work of art. So we're looking at this brass cab forward, and this is the mastermind behind it. This is Mark. He always brings his brass Southern Pacific power to these op sessions, and they run like Swiss watches. It's one of the things that's so great about coming to operate here. And so, Mark, if you don't mind telling us about this thing, I'm sure that the people watching would like to see it, because it's something you don't see every day.
Yeah, this is a precision scale kit, brass AM2. It was all pieces, complete with the box. The only thing put together were the drivers, so they're all soldered together. They claim it's a kit with full instructions. It's really just a bunch of parts that you have to put together, and a lot of time and effort in terms of soldering and figuring out how to solder things and experiment with the best way to put things together. And it's really an exercise in patience, because everything, literally all the piping on the sides, everything is all just straight brass wire, and you have to bend it all up to form. And this kit has a full cab interior, so there's a full backhead cab interior, all the brass castings. Definitely a labor of love. It's down here for its first real operating session. It's going to get all torn apart to get painted. That'll be another month exercise to get it all back together, but hopefully someday it'll be running. There's a 154 page write-up that talks about the whole saga of this thing.
This is the guy who owns the layout. This is Dave Loveless, the L in BLT. And you might remember, Dave, he was on the Talking Trains show last month, and what was really about this layout and the trials and tribulations and testing things, the evolution of the layout, basically, is what it was. And one of the big reasons I wanted to come down here today was to see what you were trying, because you tried something different today in Salinas. What was that what is Salinas normally? Okay, what did you try?
Salinas is normally a one-person job. The cars come in, 7 in a block. They get sorted and put on the layout, the different positions. 7 new ones go on the train that just left. So it's just a 7-for-7 swap. But we were experimenting with, could it be a 2-person job? Would it make it quicker? Would they have enough to do? And so we tried a 2-man crew, and it became readily apparent that it was not feasible. It just wasn't enough work. So it was a short experiment. The guys had fun doing it, and we all realized, no, this one didn't work. So we'll think of something different. But we did learn that if we blow a hole in the wall over there and extend the layout, we could add more to Salinas and make it a 2-person job.
Oh, so we're going to have an expanded Salinas pretty soon then. No.
We'll see.
But seriously,
negotiations are underway.
Oh, maybe they will get land rights for the railroad. But the point, though, I think really is to try something different and to know that your operations scheme doesn't have to be set in stone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and if
all railroads really evolved,
right? And if you find out something didn't work, you just don't do it.
Yep.
So, thank you. I think it's cool.
Having fun.
And now for the catches of the month. Kevin Hill sends in a couple videos. This one is a southbound riprap train at Logan, California on the Union Pacific coastline, taken on January 14th. This second video is also a southbound riprap train, but this time it was taken at Carnadero. Cool shots, Kevin. Thanks so much for sending them in. If you have a train or model catch you'd like to share, please email it to podcast@tsgmultimedia.com. Be sure you own the shots and include the what's, whens, and wheres of the shots you send in. So with spring right around the corner, the weather's starting to change for the better, so be sure to stay up to date with all the events happening where you live. Your local historical societies and heritage railroads could always use your support. Hey, if you enjoy what we do here, be sure to subscribe, share the videos with your friends, and comment as often as you can. These things help others find us, and they're all free to do. Of course, if you can, join the TSG train crew as well. Thanks so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.
TSG train crew members get behind-the-scenes access and sneak previews in 4K ultra-high definition. Go to patreon.com/TSG Multimedia for more information.